All right, good morning. Good morning. It's your boy Ronizi. Ready to go live here on this Friday morning. I got to the point where I said when I have these things that's burning in my spirit, instead of just keeping them there, I'm going to start sharing some of my thoughts, especially ones that I believe that will help people that want to get better in business. And so this morning, I'm going to talk about quality of business and what's not being shared or what's not being talked about as it relates to quality of business. Of course, Kiana and I now have been in business now 4 years, and the first year in business, it was exciting times. We were riding high. We were making a whole lot of money to the tune of 20 to 40, almost $50,000 a month as we progressed through that first year in business. And we were making a lot of money, but we wasn't really educated on how to effectively run a business. And so while times was good and great, and we're shopping and buying big houses and Bentleys and all that stuff was all great. But as we were building the business, we wasn't effectively running the business, and we wasn't effectively running the business because just certain things that we just simply didn't understand, and a lot of problems because we just didn't take time to understand. You're going to need to understand some of the things that caused us to go to $40,000 to $50,000 a month, back down to $327 a month, right? From $40,000 to $50,000 a month, back down like $327 per month. So it doesn't matter where you are in your business right now, whether you're riding high, whether you're just stable, whether you're in the toilet, right? The things I'm going to talk about today is things you need to understand that no matter where you are, if you're riding high, you want to stay there. If your income is good, you want to keep it there. If you're in the toilet, we're going to talk about today how to get out of the toilet, right? Because there's a lot of things that I don't have a lot of regrets in life. Not a whole lot of regrets, maybe one or two. And what I'm talking about today is not even a regret. Actually, I thank God for the things that we went through that took us from $40,000, $50,000 a month down to $327. Or you're going to grow through. And we decided to grow through, and that's how we were able to stand the test of times. We was able to stand the test of times and weather the storm of 2 years of not even making enough money to satisfy our mortgage and light bills at the house. How did we make it through it? And if we had understand what we understood now, if we had understood then what we understand now, then our income would have been over $1 million a year. Now we're on a trajectory to do that within the next 12 months. However, it could have happened much faster. So I'm going to talk about some of the things that we learned. So that, guys, wherever you are in your business, you don't have to experience these troubles. You don't have to go through these troubles. You can learn from others' misfortunes. Because I'm not going to say mistakes. I don't. A lot of stuff wasn't a mistake. It's just not really being mindful of your business. And guys, I'm gonna keep my eye for those that's viewing live. I'm going to keep my eye on the screen. So if you want to text a question, I believe that I'll be able to see your question, and I'll respond to a couple questions as I'm in the flow talking about this. So the very first thing I want to talk about is understanding persistency. We didn't understand persistency. Matter of fact, I thought I understood persistency, but I had no idea how persistency really worked. That we need to get 13 payments from the client. I understood that they measured those 13 payments over a 17-month timeline. So if I take out a policy this year in January, 12 months will be December. Well, the company is going to measure my persistency or my ability to get 13 payments over a 17-month time frame. So if I took out a policy in January, in December it would make 12 months paid into that policy. So although now I'm fully commissioned on that policy because they advanced me 9 months. If I get 12 months payment, then after month 9, they're going to pay me as earned commission on month 10, then month 11, then month 12. So now I'm fully commissioned off that policy that I sold. However, I'm still in jeopardy of persistency, where the company will say, hey, yes, your contract should pay you at 110%. So if you pick up an $84 check, the client's paying $84 a month, then that annual premium is about $1,000. So I should make $1,100 off of that client, ultimately over a 12-month period of time. So I may have collected that whole 12 months. I may have made my entire $1,100. But if I don't pick up that 13th payment, If that 13th payment doesn't come in, although the company's paid me all my money, I don't owe them any money. That 13th payment don't get in could affect my long-term future for a 2-year period of time. And for 2 years, because we wasn't getting 13 payments, my wife and I made less than a quarter, less than an eighth in some cases of what we should have made. So on policy that we turned in that we should have made $1,000 on, or $1,100 on, we would get $150 to $200 because we didn't understand properly about getting that 13th payment in.
Price Ronald Direct.
All right, so we didn't fully understand getting that 13th payment in, guys. And because we didn't understand getting that 13th payment in, we get dropped down from $40,000 to $50,000 a month to 1 month they sent us a check for $327,000. $327,000. We went over $350,000 in income in our first year in the business. $350,000 is what we made in the first year income. To drop that income back down to $37,000, guys, was crushing. And that's something that you, believe me, you don't want to experience that in your journey, because we're in the best business opportunity in American business. I've wholeheartedly believed that. If I didn't, I wouldn't have stood the test of time for 2 years of that kind of income when we created a lifestyle that required at minimum $15,000 a month. Our lifestyle that required at least $15,000 a month. So the 13th payment was everything. So whenever now you writing up a client, if I understood then what I understand now, when I sat down and talked to a client about protecting their family, I would be looking them in their eyeballs and making sure that that this is really what they want to do. See, it wouldn't have been about the commission at that time for me, because I want to build something long term for my children's children. When I die, I want to pass down a business to my children's children that's profitable, that creates a quality of life and options for them that they otherwise wouldn't have. So how important that 13th payment is, if I understood that then, when I'm sitting down on the initiation of writing a policy, when I sit down on the initiation of writing a policy, I would look that client in the eyeball and I would ask them for commitment. Simply means that when I do a dime, D-I-M-E, that I tell the client, listen, when you die, we're going to $15,000 going to be set aside to take care of your funeral, the debt protection. The I looks at replacing your income. If you make $2,000 a month over 12 months, that's $24,000 a year. We're going to protect that for your family, make sure it come in for at least 10 years. That's another $240,000 that we're committing to this client. The M and the dimes for to pay out their mortgage. They owe $100,000. That's another $100,000 that we are committing to pay out their mortgage. Then the E is for education for their kid college. A 4-year major university for one child. Another $100,000 that we are committing to. So we total up that, and I'm sitting with the clients, we're committed to paying their family $455,000 so they can have a balance in their life if the breadwinner dies. And see, what I would do have done differently, understand that 13th payment, I would look that client in the eyeballs and I would say this to them. We made a lot of promises to you today about what we're going to do if you die today, what we're going to do for your family. I made a lot of promises to you what our company is going to do. Listen, Ms. Jones, I want you to make me one promise. That if something come up in the future where you felt like that you could not keep this policy, that you call me. In some kind of way you got laid off or took a pay cut or they cut back your hours, but before you let your family's protection lapse, that you would call me. And that we will put together a program that's conducive to your current situation so that your family's protection wouldn't be totally compromised. Can you make me that one promise, Ms. Jones, that you would not call my home office, you would not just cancel the payment, you would not allow checks to bounce, that you would just call me so we can work out something to make sure your family stay protected? And see, if they make that commitment to me, I made a bunch of promises. If they make that you making on the front end just as quick as you making on the front end, it's going through the back door, then guys, you ain't building a business. You making sales and all you thinking about is your current right now. And what you want to build is something that's going to last your family long term, generationally. So I need that client to make me a commitment that they will keep this policy for duration. And if anything comes up, they will make a commitment simply to call me so we can figure out something to keep some type of protection. Because in that persistency issue, it's not about how big the policy was, how much commission you made. It's about keeping the policy on the books for a period of at minimum 17 months. You need 13 payments to come in over a 17-month period. And I ain't saying we should stop and not care after 13 months. We should want the clients to keep it for the duration of the term. Why? Because as you become a regional vice president, They share in those profits with us. We're giving us. We ain't buying the stock. They're giving us from rep level all the way up to a senior national sales director level with bonuses and trips and all of that. So they're not making money in the first year, second year of that policy. That policy needs to be on books 3, 4, 5 years for the company to turn any profit. So we should want the client to be protected for the duration of the term if we are concerned with the well-being and the healthiness of this entire corporation. We want what's best for the entire corporation, but the lack of understanding of this is causing people to lose a lot of money. It's causing a reflection of the shares of the stock profits going down because of lack of understanding of how this persistency thing works. So I'm going to get into this today. And this is something that, oh, you ain't going to get 1,000 fans want to watch this video. They want to watch the one talking about the heroes and all that kind of stuff, and it's important. But guys, if you want a long-term business, this is something you got to understand. This is something that you must pay attention to. This is something you have to commit to turn your business around so that it's built for long-term or longevity. So you got to collect 13 payments over a 17-month period of time. So again, if I take the policy out in January, by the next, it doesn't affect you, right? But if it lapses on policy number 12, you got 12 whole payments, you got all your pay. But so for 5 months now, this policy that didn't pay you a 13 payment, you got all your commission, but it didn't pay a 13 payment for 5 months, that could potentially. So if a client bounces a check and it's on after 12 was paid, 13 didn't come in. So now here's how they're going to look at it. Well, if they make 12 minimum, 8 of them have to keep paying in up to that 13th payment. At least 8 out of the 10. If you don't get 8 out of those 10 payments, 8 out of those 10 clients to stay on through 13 payments, then you fall in what's called persistency challenges. The company wants your persistency number to be 79.01. If it's all beneath 79.01, then they're going to reduce your contract. So if you're in a regional vice president contract like we are, then your contract is 110%. And if your persistency is under 79.01, that's why I said 8 out of 10 got to stay on and make the 13th payment over a 17-month period of time. So even after month 12, they didn't make month 13 for 6 months, didn't cancel or lapse. Well, month 8, you get them back on. So if they only paid 6 months, let's say only 7 did. You put in 10 policies over a 17 months on those 10 policies, drops from 80% because you had 8 out of 10, it drops down to 70%. And the company saying, oh, you're not at 79.01. So if you drop down under 79.01, then what the company say, if you go down to 79, not if you just at 79, they're going to take that 110 contract and they're going to drop it down to 95. So you lose 15 points. Doesn't sound like a big deal. Probably not. If it's one policy, it's not a big deal. Because you went from making, on that policy, you would have made, let's say if the policy would have paid you out $1,000. Well, if you're going to take away 15% from that $1,000, then now you're getting paid $850. Well, $850, you lose $150, right? That's on one policy. Remember, you wrote 10. So I got my pad here, and I got my pay. So 150 times 10, I'm not that great, but I think that's about $1,500 that you lost on 10 policies. Now imagine if you turned in, your whole team turned in 50 policies over that month. See, now you got that 150 and you multiply that by 50. So you lost about $6,000 that month. You should have earned $6,000. You take home $1,500 to your family. See, that's what's happening to Kiana and I. We should have been earning $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, but we take home $341 because it compounded over all the policies that we were written. And on top of that, if they didn't make the 12th payment where we got fully commissioned on it, not only were we getting $1,500 when we should have been making, or $2,000 we should have been making $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a month. Not only that, but we got to pay back the unearned premium. We have to pay back the unearned premium, meaning that they advanced us 9 months. The client pays in 3. So we made $1,000. They gave us $1,000 in commission. Well, we didn't earn $1,000. They advanced us $1,000. If they advanced us $1,000, not only do we get the penalty adjustment on all new business, $150 on policy that should have been paying us $1,000, right? Not only do we get that penalty adjustment, down to $850. Not only do we get that, we also get the charge back for the advance premium that was paid to us. So you should have made $1,000. They send us a check for $1,000. The client pays in 3 months. You didn't earn $1,000. So now the company going to take back about another $800 on top of that. So your new commission that's already short because you're in penalty It's already little because you're in penalty. Not only that, you ain't getting no check because you owe back money on a current chargeback or the chargeback whenever they dropped it off. So you're just putting yourself in a deep hole because you didn't understand that whenever you sit down with the client, if they're not willing to make 13 payments, it could cause a travesty in your business long term. It feels good today. You're excited today. Your commission is pouncing and you buying whatever you want. You living how you want to live. But baby, over the course of 13 to 17 months, you will be in trouble if you're not looking at the responsibility of keeping that policy on the book for 13. If you're looking with a client and they are not willing to commit to 13 months of payment on that policy, if they can't look at you and say, yes, I will make this one promise back to you, that if something came up, I'm going to call you and we'll work out something, even if I got to get a little medium plan for now until my financial situation get back better. If they can't make that kind of commitment, you should walk away. You should walk away. And if there's a person that got a life insurance policy, right? I'm just talking about before I get to the big picture, I'm talking about on the level you are right now on personal producing numbers you're doing now. If a person got a current policy and they with another life insurance company, see, you got to be willing to say that if this person old agent come back and say our company is a screw job and beating them out of their money, if you ain't willing to go back there and sit back down with that client, if you ain't willing to go back there and sit down and meet with that agent and make sure you're educated enough to back up with an agent, a cash value agent, where buy term investment difference is the best. If you're not willing to go do that, do not write that policy. Let my money go without a fight, without a battle. They coming back to tell that client that you lied to them about buy term investment difference. You lied to them because your policy gonna run out in 20 years or 30 years. When you're now they get ready to die with no protection. See, if you don't understand, especially if you don't fighting to go get your security license, which you all should be fighting to get your security license. The second big mistake we made, we should have got our security license early on in the game. Just now getting through the SIE now, we should have been had that. Because when those agents come back and they talk about, hey, at least we have something you can borrow from, you saying, no, I got something that you can take. I got something that you can take. You don't borrow your own money. And when your term runs out in 30 years, if you're sitting on $500,000, do you need this life insurance at all? You got to be willing to go back and have that conversation. So if you're not security licensed, you should be at least putting a FAB on every policy. That's what we are committed to, is to put a FAB account on every single policy. Freedom accumulation benefit on every single policy that we write, so that now as you work towards getting your security license, they already been accustomed to putting money away, so that their whole life agent don't come back and say, ours had a savings, they ain't even got you no savings. No, we got a savings with this one. They gave me a savings post, they gave me 3 more times of my insurance. So if I die, my income keep coming in. I don't just get buried with their program, and I ain't got to borrow my own money. You got to be willing to go back and have that conversation. So let's talk about this persistency thing, right? On the persistency, guys, we went through 2 years, and we built a team that was regional leader top heavy. All of our guys were regional leaders. The teams up under them that we helped them build were all regional leaders. Regional leaders were getting paid at a 70% contract. We had senior regional leaders getting paid at an 80% contract. It was all fine and dandy if our contract was at 110. Why? Because if one of my guys who got an 80% contract, he goes out and he write a premium of $1,000 a year, pick up an $83 check, well, he going to get paid, on that, he'll get paid about, it's a 30% spread, right? 90, 100, 110, 30% spread. So he made $800. When he said my guy Matthews in Kansas City, he was a senior regional leader, he make $800 on that policy. I'll be in St. Louis 300 miles away. They're going to send me $300, and I never sat down with the client. I never met the client, don't know him from a can of paint. I would receive $300. That was pretty good. Now, if I had 10 policies going in a week from Kansas City and I wasn't down there, and they're doing $10,000 premium, I make $3,000, and I was in St. Louis. I make $3,000, and I'm in St. Louis 300 miles away. If I got another leader in St. Louis doing the same thing, now we have $6,000 a week. If I had 3 of them do it, we had $9,000 a week. And that's about the life that we had created. We have regional leaders doing that kind of value, and our income on a weekly basis was $9,000 to $10,000 a week. We are living high. But because the clients wasn't paying in those 13 payments over a 17-month period of time, because we was accepting things like bank cards, people don't have a regular bank account that you can't walk into it, right? See, now our philosophy is if you can't walk into it, don't do it. They have to have a bank that you can walk into. And if they can't walk into it, our philosophy is don't do it. Because even if you can get the first premium off those prepaid cards, it's very, very tough to get the second one or the third one. Because people's mindset is different when they got a prepaid card. They just swiping until it can't swipe no more. And they're not thinking about that life insurance premium on the 15th. But when people got checking and savings account, overdraft fees and all that stuff that would occur, they're more challenged to make sure that books are kept. So it's better overall that if you can't walk into, I know we want to write every piece of premium that's out there. I know you want to make a commission on everybody out there, but listen, it's a reason that people are on prepaid cards. They're on prepaid cards because they did not handle their banking properly. And this is the harsh reality. If you're going to build a strong business long term, this is the harsh reality that you have to accept early on, which we didn't. When it wasn't a way, we would try to create a way. Let's just go online and get a prepaid card. And that prepaid card may pay us the first payment. And oftentimes the first one didn't even clear. But because Primerica system don't know it, for 2 or 3 days that card didn't clear, they advanced us the commission. And we got a loan. It's like we took out a loan. And any loan you take out, understand, you're going to have to pay interest. And our interest was this. The interest was this. Here's was the interest. The interest was $30,000 to $40,000 in lost income a month. Was it worth it? No, it was not worth it. So if they can't walk into it, you shouldn't do it. They should have a bank that you can walk into. You are excited about getting a commission today and not building a business that's going to last your family an eternity. Your children's children will benefit from this if you do it the right way. If you stabilize your business, run a business with integrity, and you don't compromise. You got to build your business by the rules. You'll make exceptions sometimes along the way, but you can't build a business on exception. Oh, you ain't got no bank account? Let's go get your bank card online. Let me get you a Green Dot card. Let me get you a MetaBank card. And all these online banking because they wasn't responsible to balance their books in the first place. Do people change over time? Yes, they do. And when they make that change, we want them to go to the bank that you can walk into and open up an account. I shouldn't have to drive you to the bank to open up an account for you either. Because if it's important to you, you'll do it yourself. I'm not going to put you in my car and take you to open up a bank account so you can protect your family. See, long-term thinking is what's going to cause you to have a business that's going to pay you over $1 million a year. But of them. But you know we were getting off of it because of persistency penalty. Because at one point they took our contract from 110 down to 95, so that 300 drops down to 150. Then now we dropped down even more. See, when I got up under 75% persistency, instead of getting a 95% contract, they took me down 15 more points. Now I'm at 80. Well, I'm at 80 and my regional leader's at 80. There is no overrides. So the team that I built, everybody on that team get paid except me. Everybody on the team get paid except me. So now when I got 5 regional leader teams that each should have paid me $3,000 a week, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 10 to $15,000 a week. Now I'm getting nothing off those teams and they're doing the same production. Because I wrote business with people that didn't have a bank that they can walk into. And I allowed the team to write business with banks that they cannot walk into. That they did not have to keep a ledger to make sure they're not getting overdraft fees. The card stops it at the door. The card's not going to let them swipe it. So they don't have to be disciplined or manage their accounts. And you don't want to do business with people who do business that way. Because you will never get that 13th payment and you'll go a 2-year period like Keanu and I did with a team full of regional leaders writing $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 in premium every single month. We should have been getting paid $10,000, $15,000 a month and we walk away with nothing. Nothing. Built a team so we can have leverage income to 70%, to 60%, to 50%. We was getting paid as district leaders. We didn't have no district leaders, so we got no overrides. And when we wrote premium, we didn't get no money because not only did we get reduced in our contract down to 50%, 25% at one point, 25% contract. If I wrote a piece of business myself, my commission would have been $250, $250 when it should have been $11, would have been $250. When I went out and wrote it myself, $250 from $11? And even when the $250 cleared, I didn't get a check. And I didn't get a check because some of the same regional leaders that I allowed to have bad business practices, they quit when they got the chargebacks. When they're saying, hey, they're not going to get a check no more, they wasn't ready to go stomach not getting a check no more. Till they have to pay back the money that they owe from all the bad accounts that didn't clear. Primerica already gave you $2,000. 3 days later, they found out that the money didn't clear. Or the card wasn't even droppable in the first place. So they look at $2,000 in chargeback and say, wait, if I write my next 3 policies, I ain't going to get paid on it? No, you already got paid on. You owe the company back from those 3 cars that didn't work. So now they said, no, I can't do this, and they go run out to another company. But if you going to stay here and you going to go build something long-term for your family, now the commission that was paid to them, the $2,000 that was paid to them, you got to pay that back because the house never lose money. Primerica's not going to lose money. So when you're a regional vice president and they pay $2,000 commission to all your regional leaders, and you got 5 of them and all of them decide to quit, they've been paying them $2 grand for months and months and months and months and months, but they're only getting 1 month premium paying down their loan. So now each regional leader got $40,000, $50,000 in debt that's owed to the company. Debt that's owed to the company. And they don't want to see it through. They ain't fighting to go get 13 payments because they just gone down to the next company now. Well, they ain't going to pay us no more. Let's go somebody go to another company that will pay. We ain't going to send them no new business. We know we ain't going to get no check for a month, 2, or maybe even 3. Because all these second, third premiums ain't clearing now. We got our money up front. We got to get out of here and get somewhere else because our bills are due. So your regional leaders go running out to another company so they can keep on getting company advances, company loans, and you got to sit there and not only pay back the override that you were paid, the $20,000, $30,000 that you was paid, the difference between y'all contract, the 80% to the 110. Not only got to pay back your overrides, you also got to pay back the commission that they were paid. So we're sitting back with over $200,000 that we owe back to Primerica at this time. Over $200,000 because we had to pay back our overrides and we also had to pay back the commission that they made. Nothing, we had over $300,000 when we got the roll-ups included. Rolled up. The balance that they left the company don't lose money. They roll it up to you, the regional vice president, when you become one or if you are one. So now when I'm making a $250, when I would reduce contract that should have paid me $1,100, when I'm getting the $250, I don't even get that check. Can't even get the $250. Why? Because I owe the company back for all the overrides they paid me on the team and all the commission they paid those people themselves. I'm supposed to get the difference between the $811, which is $300, but I paid the $300 back, but I also had to pay back the $800 that they was paying per lead. So for 2 years, we had integrity, and we said we're going to pay back every dime, and we ain't going to quit and run to another company because there's no other opportunities to give us ownership of our agency, stock when we promote people. So we was going to stay here, and we committed that we was going to pay it all off, and then we're going to find our way to be back profitable. And here we are 2 years later, back last month, they paid us almost $40,000, bonus check over almost 20 grand. But it was 2 years of agony, 2 years of wondering how we're going to make it through, 2 years of riding up to the house and the lights, all because if we're going to pay the mortgage, this was $3,000, we're going to pay the mortgage. We couldn't afford to get the heat on too. But all that happened because of lack of preparing our people the right way and getting prepared the right for us. 13 months payments is what you got to be committed to. And you should be looking at people who want to keep it for the longevity of their term so to make sure that the company is long-term profitable. If the company is not long-term profitable, the question is, what are we doing? Do we want to compromise and put our company in jeopardy? No, I want this company to be as strong. When my kids take over my business, when we die, when they patting the shovel on our face with dirt, we want a business that's paying our kids $200,000 a month. Their kids $200,000 a month. And if you build it the right way, that's the exact opportunity that you have. But you got to understand this persistency. If you're standing there and they don't have a bank that you can walk into, you shouldn't write that business. If the client can't tell you that, listen, I want to keep it, I ask them, why do you think this is important for you to have this policy? And when they tell me, because I want my paycheck to keep coming into my kids for 10 years if I die, because I want my mortgage paid off, because I want to send them, if they can't repeat back to me those things, you may have got them on an emotional hook, and that emotion is going to die down. 2 or 3 days, that emotion is going to die down. So we give them a chance now to let buyer's remorse sink in. See, we started making these adjustments. The team that was stuck around before it went all to crap, the team that did stick around, they all quit after that. Because they was used to just whatever they submit up, go straight to home office. We started making adjustments. We decided we were going to be here long term and we were going to make adjustments. So now every piece of business that gets submitted, Kiana now calls and do a survey. And those agents didn't like that because we were finding bad banking. We were finding people that really wasn't committed to the policy. We asked them a question. Is this something you want for now or is this something you want to keep long term? Was you doing this just to help your little brother or did you really want to protect your family forever? If they don't answer that right, we send that piece of business back. So the agents didn't like that. They said, we used to just be able to get our money, submit, woo, 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 woo. Now y'all gonna make every, y'all gonna survey, yeah, we survey every client. We give them chance for buyer's remorse to kick in. And if you are the agent and you made a commitment, that they made a commitment to you at the kitchen table, you shouldn't have a problem with it being verified. If you think of long term and you don't want to write people who ain't going to keep 13 payments minimum over a 17 period of time, then you shouldn't want to write them anyway. See, the people who got a problem with calls of verification, you're just hoping to get a commission advanced to you. But remember the interest on that commission. There's interest on that in persistency penalty. There's interest on that in persistency penalty. And you will be indebted forever if you don't change your behavior. You're riding out today, but I'm telling you, it would all come tumbling down. So we verify every piece of business that comes through. Before home office get to see it, they're going to have a conversation with us about, oh, you want this long term? Is this something you want just for now? And if you can't tell me you want this long term and you want to make sure that your kids keep getting your check and your mortgage get paid off, then we're not going to submit that business. And if you with a prepaid card, we're not going to submit that business. See, if you care enough about your kids, why is it a challenge for us to ask you to open up a regular bank account? Because the recurring payments on this type of payment typically don't get past 6 months. See, if they really want to protect their family, if it was really important for them, we need to find out right now. See, if you ain't going to keep it, if you ain't willing to go down to the bank and just open up a real account that you got to manage and be responsible for, if you ain't willing to do that early, let me know now. Not when it's going to hurt me for 2 years. Let me know this now. And if you're an agent and you want to build a long-term profitable business, you should want the same thing. If they're not going to commit for 17 months, then 13 payments in a 17-month period of time, if they're not going to commit to that, you want to know that now. We ask them the medical questions. Have you ever, not in 10 years, not in 5 years, because people lie. Have you ever been diagnosed with anything? Have you ever been admitted to the hospital? Ever. And see, if they say ever, then they got to think, and then we got to phrase it. This is the most important part of the whole process that we're going to go through. I'm going to answer these questions, and you got to tell me the truth on this. Because if you don't, it will not only hurt you, but it can hurt me. My company will penalize me in penalties and lost wages if I get this part wrong. So this is the most important part for me and you. Because Ms. Jones, if I can't help you, I don't want to hurt you. If I can't help you stay protected for your family, and we're going to bring on this $400,000 when you die, I don't want to take your $85 now if when you die we can't pay a debt claim because you're not going to keep this for 13 months. Or we can't get this thing approved. So this is the most important part of the whole application. So you got to say that to them. You got to be willing. If we're going to lose it, let's lose it now. Let's lose it now before the company advance me any commissions or charge me interest over 2 years. Let's deal with this now. Don't want to pay interest back for 17 months. And the debt back too. You got to pay the loan back that you got, the interest on the loan, and $50 a processing fee because the policy ain't got delivered or accepted. You're losing money on that client. You're losing money. At least if I ain't going to get paid a commission off of it, at least don't cause me to lose no money. See, even in the COD game, right, you better make sure you understand that properly. Cash on delivery. You can send a COD. Like, if I send a COD, it don't hurt me. Wrong. Wrong. If you submit a policy, COD, cash on delivery, if that client is sitting there, they got diabetes, high blood pressure, cancer, tumor, why are you submitting that? Yeah, we can get some people with diabetes too. Yeah, we can get some people with high blood pressure too. But the reality is they got diabetes and high blood pressure. The rate's going to be higher than what you told them. In most cases to 120. You know this is the way it's probably going to pan out if they got diabetes. So you send in COD, you say this ain't going to hurt me. No, you're wrong. It hurts you. Because if you take a policy back, Primerica offers that client a policy. And they say, listen, we will cover you, but it's going to be double what we said. They offered a policy. It's going to go against your taking rate. And when it goes against your taking rate and your taking rate drops below a certain point, Primerica, that's 75% advance that they're giving you, that's 75% advance that they're giving you, which causes you to get a big check up front, that loan of 75%, they're going to reduce that down to 50% advance. And then they're going to reduce it down to 25% advance. So a policy that you was getting $500 on now turns into $80 to $100. Because your advance rate got reduced because you're sending in all CODs that you know the probability of them taking is slim to none. They're probably not going to take it. If you know they're not going to take it, don't even submit it. Send a guarantee issue policy. Get on the other chassis. Get on the other platform. with Priority Life. Priority Life allows us to write guaranteed issue policy. Write the guaranteed issue policy. Then we're going to prove you on this one no matter what. Don't send a COD if you know the probability of the client taking it is slim to none. I'll ask the client. One of three things is going to happen when we submit this policy. You got to be willing to have these conversations if you want a long-term profitable. So when you go into the QBI, quality business intake, right? If you submit a policy COD and the client don't want to take it when you come back, but on the slim chance that they do offer you a policy, one of three things is going to happen. Policy could possibly, but unlikely, it will come back issued as requested. Meaning they're not going to charge you anymore. The $8 I'm showing you right now, even though you got diabetes, they're going to keep it at $8. That is very slim. Slim chance that's going to happen. The second thing that's going to happen is you're going to get what's called a rated risk. And rated risk just simply says, Ms. Jones, good news. Normally these don't even get approved, but they offered you a product. And that product they're going to offer you, the same $100,000 that you was going to get for $80, that same $100,000 is going to cost you $160 or better. And in that case, Ms. Jones, what would you do? Do you still want this policy, or do you want to cancel it? Or would you say, no, never mind, I ain't paying that much for insurance. I don't understand the importance of spending $160 a month for $100,000 when it really would have cost me $80 if I wasn't sick. It ain't like it's a company fault that you got diabetes. They have to measure their risk. It's like you drive your car. If they drive their car and they got tickets, the rates are higher. If you're buying insurance, you got ailments, the rates are higher. But if she can't say, yeah, I would take that one for $160, or you can give me a little less coverage, and I'll still spend the $80 that I was spending. If they can't say one of the two, don't write it. Mrs. Jones, they can come back issue as requested, which is highly unlikely. It's usually going to come back double the price. And if it do, that's a rated risk. Would you at that turn say, I'll pay the $160? Or is that out the question for you? Or that's out the question? Would you at minimum reduce it down to, even if you can only get $25,000 to $30,000 instead of $100,000? Do you see the importance of why you need to keep the policy, and would you be willing to do it, or you would probably want to shop it around to see if the next company catch you with the diabetes? What would be your answer to that? Because they ain't say, I'm going to keep that $80 at minimum premium. If they're not saying that, do not submit it, not even COD. Or the third thing that can happen to you, Ms. Jones, you can be flat out declined. And flat out decline just simply means that we're not going to take you anyway. So if they flat out decline, it don't hurt you in no way, shape, or form. If Primerica issues a policy, even if it's rated, and the client don't take it, your taking rate is going to get dropped, which is going to drop down your QBI, which if you're an agent below RVP, it can reduce. Same way persistency drops down your advanced amount of money that you're going to get. You may have a 75% advance, but they're going to, that means they're not going to advance you a 75 or 50 or even down to 25%. They'll put you on as earned. You're supposed to make a $1,200 off this policy over the year. They're going to give you $100 a month. Now, how's that for you? And they're going to charge you $50 because they're not going to get a basic illustration back or a policy delivery receipt. You get charged $25 for each one of those, and they didn't even accept the policy. So now instead of you getting $1,200 in commission, you just lost $50. They'll take $50 out of your earnings account. $50 on a policy you stood no chance on getting a commission on in the first place. So don't even send a COD, because the myth says that if you send a COD, it ain't going to hurt you. Yes, it will. And if you're RVP and your taking rate is too low, your QBI, every time they cut us a bonus, last month our bonus was about $17,000. On the same production that we was getting bonuses only for $3,000 because our QBI was so low. Quality business intake. So they multiplied your production times 20%. You're supposed to get a 20% bonus, but before they cut that 20% bonus, so we did a $100,000 base shop, our bonus check should be $20,000. Before they cut the check for $20,000, they multiplied by your QBI, which is based on your taking rate. How many policies did you submit that was actually accepted? How many was accepted? And then when that taking rate gets too low, it affects your QBI, and they multiply your bonus by your QBI. So you're sitting around supposed to get a $20,000 bonus, and we getting $2,000. And no advances, and we trying to live off a bonus of $2,000 with our household bills and everything else we had going on was about $15,000 a month, because we did not do business properly. We was building a business but not properly running one. So if you're below RVP, it'll affect your advance rate. And if you're in our base shop, it's going to also affect your contract level as well moving forward, because we positioned ourselves that you got the information that you need to know, and if you don't apply it the same way the company deals with us by reducing our contract, we're going to deal with you the same way. How did they get our attention? What made us dig in and learn this stuff? What made us say we stopped taking Bancorp and Green Dot cards? Why did we come to the conclusion we don't even want MetaBank no more? Because the people who deal with those cards, I got one of those. I got one in my wallet. I got a, what they call that card I got, baby? NetSpend. I got a NetSpend card. And every now and then I put money on it. But I never check my balance. I just swipe it until it says ain't no more money. So the reality of it is people who do business on these cards think about business a different way than people who got to balance a check ledger. That's the reality. And if you accept that early, you will put a business in place that your kids gonna remember who you are. But if you don't, you're not gonna be around here long. So you gotta make that adjustment. The house never lose money. Primerica has a way to get it back through penalizing you. When you're supposed to get $1,000 and you walk away with $150, Primerica gets the other $850. I love Primerica, but I don't want to give them $850 off my policies. Of organizations that I built. I take $150, they get $850. This happened for 2 years on every policy. Multipliers, we write 100 policies a month. $850 times 100. That's what the house get. 800 if built your business improperly, they get to keep $850 and give you $150. Why would you go out if they want to do that? Wouldn't make a lot of business sense to me. If I was the guy making a decision, I'm probably not going to do that too many times. So you got a chance to build it the right way. You don't have to worry about a reduced contract. You don't got to worry about penalizing your bonus. We should keep 90% of the business that you write. You should keep 90% of. You write 10 policies, one gonna fall off. You ain't gonna be perfect, but 1 out of 10 fall off. The company can deal with that, and so can you. You keep your advances. You keep your contract levels. Everybody's happy. Stock going up, everything. Everybody's happy. But you gotta understand, man, number one, the house don't lose money. And even if you quit, you can be a regional vice president, if you quit, the house still don't lose money. One of the reasons that we didn't walk away wasn't the biggest reason, but it definitely played into my mind that we didn't walk away, because I love my senior vice president, the guy that's over me. If I'd have walked away and owed the company $300,000 because my team discretions, the house don't lose money. He'd have to go pay back down $300,000. He wouldn't have received the check until $300,000 was paid off. And then if he could have quit, our senior national sales director had to pay it. And if he didn't quit, his guy over here would have. But the house don't lose money. The house don't lose money. They're going to get paid. See, we got to decide that we going to go get paid. You can't win the game if you don't understand the rules. So if you don't understand QBI persistency, you need to do it. If you don't have a contract with QBI Masters, you need to get one. See, we said for years we can't afford it because they wanted to be size business that we was running. We weren't getting paid on it, but we was running a business that should have been paying us 30, 40 grand a month. So QBI Masters said, this kind of business we got to help you manage. We couldn't afford not to do it. So we got that contract. And was it 30 days later or 60 days later?
What? That we flipped out?
That we flipped out of persistency.
It was about 2.5 months.
So see, we've been in persistency for 17 months, almost 2 years. When we hired QBI Masters 2.5 months later, 2.5 months later, flipped out. We said we couldn't afford to get them. We couldn't afford not to have them. See, we started living by principle that if what we had in our hand didn't meet our need, it wasn't our harvest, it's our seed. And if you're a regional leader and you got a sizable business, you should have your own contract with them. Your own contract. Not just under your RVP. You should have your own contract where you can get some one-on-one, because you run a $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 regional leader, you need your own contract. That call can't handle your whole team and the volume that you're bringing in, plus your RVP, rest of their team. You need one that's specific to you so you can make sure you on track. You can make sure your persistency is intact. Last couple things that I'm going to share, guys, in running your business. Every day you got to pay attention to certain things. Pay attention to certain things. One thing you got to look at that will help you is your blue bag. Some people don't even know. I didn't know what blue bag, how to get to a blue bag. I know you click some button to get to a blue bag. But the blue bag, in the blue bag, you have what's called your Policy Master Activity Report. And every Saturday that comes out, and it tells you about people who bounced the check, or called in to counsel. Before the company give you a chargeback on a business that they already got at least the first premium on, before they give you a chargeback, they give you 60 days to go get this stuff corrected. But if you ain't checking your blue bag, going to your policy master activity report, you don't even know they got bounce check coming. You about to fall into persistency. You about to get your contract reduced. And you ain't doing nothing about it. They giving you 60 days. You get 60 days, you can't get them back on. That means you shouldn't have wrote them in the first place. Just some things that we got to make some adjustment to. If you want a long-term profitable business, there's some things that you got to make adjustments to. You got to look at your life manager every day. Policies that's been pending. You submitted the policy, you just got paid in advance. You ain't earned that money yet. That policy need to be issued and delivered to the client. And now you got to go measure it now. After that's been done, you need to get 12 more payments out of them. You got one, you need 12 more minimally in a 17-month period of time. If you ain't checking your life manager, it'll never even get to the issue status report. You got to check that daily. What's changing in this conservation report? Who lapsed? Who child turned 25? Let me go write a policy on them to make sure we can convert them over. More new commission for you. You got to understand this stuff. It has to be important to you. Policy that's issued with a requirement, meaning like the first check might have bounced. And if you've been writing with those cards, you probably did get the first check to bounce. You got to go back and clean all that up. That's why we're going to stop taking them, because we don't want you going back to a second visit. You can get this correct on the first try. First try. Get a bank that you can walk into. Well, how am I going to make money? Most people in my neighborhood, all they use. I understand that. I understand that. That's all they use. You got to get and fight and get to the right type of market. Because you ain't trying to get no loans. You trying to get paid. You trying to get paid. You trying to keep the money. Educate them. Teach them. Get a bank that you got to keep a ledger on. It's just simple things, guys, that you got to pay attention to. Issue with delivery requirements. You got to get those requirements satisfied. Policies pending over 30 days. Once they get past 30 days pending, man, clients don't even feel like they got no insurance no more. You done wrote the policy, they took the first premium, 90 days later, they ain't got another premium. The clients don't feel like they got no insurance. They didn't even get in the rhythm that the policy is supposed to come out on the 15th of every month, and 2 months later, nothing ain't came out because the policy ain't issued. They forgot they even got insurance with you. And then you want 4 months later, they say, oh yeah, all this policy all of a sudden come on the 15th, you cause them to have bounce checks, now they pissed off. Just make simple adjustments. Pending 30 days, pending 45 days, pending 6 days, you got to clean that stuff up. We stop taking policies that require physical up front. Client may need a $500,000 worth of insurance. They ain't getting that with us. We're going to submit you based on your age for what you can get without the physical. You get a term now. 300,000, 250, whatever your age say you can get 100,000, that's what you're going to get. And once that get approved, and once you accept and agree to that, and that policy number is issued, and we got now this policy on the book, if you still want that $500,000 30 days later, we'll go ahead and submit a policy change form. And we'll increase it to that $500,000. So now even if you don't get the physical, it doesn't matter. We got the policy already in place. You just ain't going to get the increase. You're not going to kill my persistency because you're never going to take a physical. And most people who need a physical don't take them. So we stop allowing them to submit policy to us that requires a physical up front. Let's get you covered today at the 150 or 300 where it's jet issue. Don't need a physical. Where we can do a conditional receipt. And a conditional receipt says if you die before it's issued, if we didn't find a reason why we wouldn't have issued it, your family is protected. If you need a physical, there's no coverage after the physical is done. Had one of my agents that didn't want to listen to me. Been saying this to him. Wouldn't listen to me. He changed it now, but he had a client that he wrote up, friend of his wife's. Did one for $500,000. Said the client insisted. The client can't insist on nothing. They don't know the rules. You know the rules. They don't know the rules. The rules is what your base shop and your RVP put in place. Well, our company don't allow us to. That's right. That's what our mandate. We don't allow them to do it. Mandates that we go ahead and get you approved for the $300,000 right now because that part doesn't require physical. That way, if something happens to you and you die before this policy gets approved, if we didn't find a reason why we wouldn't have approved you, we're going to pay the $300,000. We're going to keep underwriting this as if you was alive, and then we're going to pay your family $300,000 debt claim. But if you get the one that requires a physical and you die and the physical hadn't happened, the company going to send you back this check for $80. That's all you're going to get. You want a chance to get $300 or you cool with the $80? You going to tell me a client going to say I'm cool with the $80? No, they're not. Take the $300, issue the policy out, Get them to sign off of it, get the delivery receipt done, and then put in a policy change. Because then if they don't get the physical, we still got the initial policy in place, and it doesn't hurt your QBI, your taking rate, or your persistency if they don't get the $500,000. Some adjustments that just has to be made. Because you got to write quality of business. You got to position yourself where you have the best opportunity to win. Long term, not today. Long term. You don't have to choose. You can win now and long term. You want a certain amount of money come in every week, increase your activity. You run a lot of people that got MetaBank and Green Dot cards and what the other one called? MetaBank, Green Dot, and Bancorp. You run into people that got those kind of cards, then you need to increase your activity. You need to increase your activity. Yeah, if you only send 2 people a week, you're probably going to come across a MetaBank and a Bancorp. Well, how about do 10 appointments a week if you're part-time? How about do 10 a week? You do 10 a week, you're a district leader. If you close 3 of them, you made about $1,000 to $1,500. Increase your activity. Don't compromise your business. Increase your activity. Fight to get in the right type of market. Because the interest on them loans you taking out is 17 months and they hefty. Cost us $20,000 to $40,000 a month for 2 years. We ain't going back there. Saying you got to make the same decision that even if you ain't talking about not going back there, you got to make a decision not to go there at all. So you got to pay attention to who you're going to submit in the first place, even if it's COD. CODs do hurt you. Don't get it twisted. Your taking rate is going down based on COD. We even start doing surveys and evaluating our CODs heavier because we don't want to submit them. If these people ain't got the probability of getting accepted, if they say they won't take it if the price is double or at least reduce it down to $25,000, if they had 100, they may have to reduce it down to $25,000 at the same price that they was going to get for 100. If they won't say they're going to accept it, then we're not going to even take the CODs. Because I want all my bonus. I don't want to compromise my bonus because CODs didn't get approved. Or they did get approved rather than clients wouldn't take it because it was rated. I could have told them that in the beginning. These are adjustments that has to be made if you're going to build a long-term profitable business. And if that's what you want, position yourself to get it then. All this stuff ain't favorable, it ain't exciting. But if your deal here is to go make a business, put a business in place that's going to pay your family for generations to come, then these are some adjustments you got to go make. You got to check your pending business to make sure policies get issued and delivered. You got to make sure they're not pending past 30 days. If you got ones issued with requirements, you got to get those requirements certified, because if you don't get those policies issued with the requirements certified, your taking rate is affected by that. You got a policy that was accepted and it did not get issued to the client and accepted by the client, which is going to drive your taking rate down, which can reduce down your quality of business, which can take your bonuses out of place as the RVP. And when they do bonuses below RVP, yours is impacted by your base shop. So when the company say we're going to do a below RVP bonus 5 or 10%, your bonus is multiplied by your base shop's QBI. I remember I was sitting in my SVP's base shop, and they said we're going to pay below RVP's a bonus. And our team had did like $75,000 in production that month. And my bonus check didn't reflect 10% of $75,000. I was expecting a $7,500 bonus check, and they didn't get. I didn't understand this stuff, so I didn't get $7,500. I went to my RVP and said, "Hey, Primerica messed up my check. Supposed to be $7,500. They only got like $3,500. They owe me $4,000." He said, "No, they multiplied that by the base shop's QBI." I said, "Well, I ain't got nothing to do with your base shop QBI." See, everybody got to fall and marry the system. Everybody got to have the buy-in. So you got to implement this stuff the right way. You got to make sure your downlines, even ain't for the RVP only. If you're a regional leader, you're a district, you get an override, you're responsible to make sure you and your people get the information that they need and they follow through with it. Don't compromise this. It probably cost us $1 million over the last 17 months, at minimum. We'd be $1 million earners right now had we got this part right. It's an expensive lesson learned, but I'm glad we finally got it. So if you want to build a profitable business, don't get pimped around by your downlines, your sidelines, your uplines, the company, because they're going to enforce what's already written. The company's in business. This is not a not-for-profit business. Primerica is a for-profit business. The house don't lose money, and you got to decide that you ain't going to lose money too. So the biggest lesson that we learned in all of this is to mind your business. You better mind your business. And you got people that don't want to fall in line, lose them sooner than later. Lose them sooner than later. Even your big producer, they don't want to get in line with this, get them out of line. If they don't want to get in line, get them out of line. Because this is something you're building for your family. And your kids don't deserve for you to pass down a business with no value that they don't want. Because you can't have a lifestyle based on actions that you won't fix when you got time to fix it. Quality of business is everything. It ain't how much business you write, it's how much business you keep on the books, paying 13 payments over a 17-month period of time. If you can get that your business is going to pay you, if you don't think they're going to pay you 13 payments over 17 months, you nor your downlines should write it. If they got a bank account that's questionable, there are accounts that's unquestionable. Put it with the accounts that's unquestionable. If you can't walk into it, don't do it. Simple things. Check your daily blast to see what's going to affect you in the next month. Check your master activity report that's in your blue bags. Check your conservation report. It takes you 10 to 30 minutes a day early in the morning to do this. If you got a big team, maybe 30 minutes. If it's you and a couple people, 10 minutes and you're done. You're going to thank God that you did. If you don't, you're probably not going to be around. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys. Thanks for listening to me today. God bless you. We'll see you at the top.